Now this is what we're gonna do. Do right and his crew shot up a patrol car. They're going after cops now. I'm gonna bust them, and you're gonna help me. Plant this piece behind the bar.
Here's your chance to watch an exclusive advanced screening of a full-length feature film before it hits theaters. Night Catches Us is available now on demand.
I wanted to make a movie that was really doggedly African American. And by that I meant, I think that whole kind of Black Power era is so kind of, it's just about black people. Kerry Washington plays this woman, Patricia Wilson, who, was married to kind of the voice of the Black Panther movement. When we meet her, though, she's really kind of changed a lot.
You're living in the past, Patricia. This house, this neighborhood, you're all fighting imaginary enemies.
She's somebody who's really kind of grappling with the past in the same way that Marcus is. But I think that, unlike Marcus, I think she's not really searching until he returns. Marcus, for me, he's been in self-exile. And he returns to this community. His father's died. He's come home to kind of bury him, basically. Really, his role is of this man who's trying to kind of run from his past, but he can't outrun it, and he has to essentially stay and deal with it.
Nobody calls me Patty anymore.
I don't know you as anything else.
In my mind, I always sort of saw them as two people who kind of, from afar, kind of fall in love. But of course, never being able to really realize that love. I think that in Patricia's case, she loves him, but the question really is, does she love him enough to dismantle the facade that she's kind of built to protect herself?
You, of all people, lecturing me on commitment. Where you been, Marcus? All this time. Where did you go?
I think perhaps she doesn't necessarily like where it kind of goes for her. She doesn't like unearthing all of her past. It's just too painful.
I got a message from the brothers.
They sent you?
Things done changed, snitch. I'm in charge now.
Face to face with a policeman, I should keep my mouth shut. Say nothing unless asked. Answer questions like yes, sir, no, sir, unless they violate my civil rights. Then put my hands on my head where they can clearly see them and ask for a lawyer. And never make sudden moves and never get angry.
The comic books in the film are, in real life, actually, they were coloring books. As you sort of flip through the book, you'll go like page maybe 3, and it seems reasonable enough. And then all of a sudden on page 4, it'll be like a raving maniac, with like a gun. And then it just gets worse and worse as you go through, and then you realize that it's sort of this very nasty propaganda.
The feds printed these comics for people just like you.
I showed it recently to Kathleen Cleaver, who was Eldridge Cleaver's wife, and she noted that, in fact, the comic book was not written by the feds at all. She was saying that it was, in fact, written by this guy who was just a periphery, sort of like revolutionary who wanted to join the party.
You don't got to tell them nothing. You don't got to show them no ID. You don't got to tell them who you are or where you live.
And I think the Panthers are a really interesting kind of group and a time in history to look at for when that, sort of how that happens. If they saw someone being arrested, they would stand on the opposite side of the street and they would yell out the person's rights. When I was writing this, I thought about what it's like for two people to kind of live in the shadow of somebody who's really great.
I can't go with you.
I can't stay.
Because this is not the life you want to live.
Because I want more. For both of us.
My intent, at least as the writer, was to allow people to see that he's coming from a place that doesn't work and looking for one that does.
Magnolia Pictures presents Night Catches Us. Watch it now before it's in theaters.